Have you been personally victimized by a Sam Raimi movie that wasn't as good as you thought it should be?
You're still listening. This is our final transmission.
Here, it's final transmission time. It's me, Sam Russo. It's Jamie Carruthers.
Hello, it's one horror movie a week from the dawn of time until the end of time.
Yes,
How are you doing, Sam?
I'm good, man. I'm hanging in there. I'm doing everything right. I'm correct about everything, and everything's landing right in my lap. What about you?
The same, except the exact opposite.
I think we're doing great.
I think we're doing great too.
We're off to a flyer.
Today has been a very stormy day in the northwest of England. But the sun has literally just come out. This would be prime time to go for a nice walk.
Wouldn't it be lovely to be outside? Instead, the second we hit record on the podcast, the clouds part, deer frolic outside my window, birds chirp, and all is right with the world. And then I guarantee the second we finish, monsoon season returns.
Yeah.
But you know what? We love it. We love living in the hole.
We do, living in the wasteland.
We're going to be talking today about a Sam Raimi film, which is topical for many reasons. Jamie, why don't you tell everyone what the fuck we're up to here?
Well, we've talked about Sam Raimi, a lot in the history of the podcast.
It's almost like he's a person of note in the genre.
Well, yeah. We've obviously talked about him. I think we've maybe referenced him as many times as Nicolas Cage.
Ooh, definitely more substantially.
Yeah. We have talked about him recently when we talked about Evil Ed and a bunch of other things, even The Substance. And so we thought it would be nice to talk about a Sam Raimi film. Now, we have made some sort of pointless resolution to never cover the Evil Dead movies because I guess we've already talked about them to death. So when you suggested that we do The Gift, I was like, do you know what? Yeah. And I was under the impression that I had seen The Gift.
Interesting.
But I hadn't.
Oh, wow. A first.
There was a period where I was under the impression that I'd watched all of the Sam Raimi movies that were out there. And I must have just glid on past The Gift. Or perhaps it wasn't incredibly memorable to 17-year-old Jamie Carruthers.
Interesting, because you reacted in such a way that had me thinking you'd seen it and liked it. How interesting.
Well, we'll definitely get into the veracity of that statement.
Oh, good.
What was your history with the Giftery?
I was looking for films set in swamps, and this one came up. That is literally the extent of it. And when I saw that it was Sam Raimi, and I saw the particular cover that I saw looked vaguely familiar, so I started reading about it a little bit. And then it all clicked together. It was already on my watch list, and I quickly realized why. It's written by Billy Bob Thornton. It's got Keanu Reeves in it. It's got Gianna Ribisi in it. It's got lots of stuff that I like. So I thought, wow, how the fuck have I not watched this yet? So it went straight to the top of the list, and I was going to watch it anyway, so I thought I'd suggest it.
Well, it was a good suggestion. I've got a lot of notes here.
Good grief, really?
Yeah. I had a lot of thoughts while watching this.
Wow, okay.
And I want to get into those thoughts. Before we go on, you look like you're about to say something.
I was just going to say, good thing we're doing a podcast about it then, because that's exactly what's required.
Correct. I think that the year 2000 is a really odd period in horror.
I agree.
And I wanted to, before we get into spoilers, maybe touch on that a bit and talk about why you think it was so weird. I've written down a few sort of suggestions as to what I think might be the reason. So think about horror movies that were coming out around this time. There was The Sixth Sense, there was The Gift, there was Donnie Darko, there was What Lies Beneath, there was the Hannibal sequels, there was Stir of Echoes, Identity, movies like that. Yeah. And these are all pitched fairly loftily, vaguely horror-based properties that aren't like your traditional horror fare with big actors and in some cases big directors involved. And I wanted to sort of dig into why that happened. So do you think it was like scream fatigue and like the fact that we'd moved on from the 80s and the 90s and those sort of like vaguely trashy horror movies? Obviously they were still making Scream movies, and the Scream boom and the stuff that followed on from Scream meant that like bigger names and also capitalism meant that like people were weaving in and out of the horror genre a bit more in terms of like name actors. I mean, there were name actors that were in horror movies before that, but like they were, for the most part, either on a downward trajectory or an upward trajectory, or were people that only really existed as like genre character actors. So that was one suggestion, scream fatigue. The other is that Hollywood just saw how profitable horror could be off the back of The Sixth Sense and Blair Witch in '99. Or was it that horror became mainstreamed and normalized in like a new way by the sort of the trash boom in the 80s, moving into like the slick version of that in the 90s with Scream, and then Blair Witch, and you know, all those other movies from the 90s. There was a bunch of trash that was still being made then. Do you think it was which of those do you think it was, or do you think it was a confluence of all three?
I think the answer's yes, because it does feel like an element of all three. I lean much more towards option
Come on,
C.
Eileen.
Come on, Eileen. Option C would be where I would lean, because it feels to me by the year 2000, mainly just based on my own like viewing experience and you know, what I've gathered, not based on anything academic here, obviously, but it feels like people are seeing that you can successfully blend elements of horror and elements of thriller in a way that neither lands you in either camp particularly strongly. You know, you can kind of create this sort of hinterland where you've got maybe supernatural thriller, or you've got a particularly thriller centric you know, body horror or something like that. And there's a lot more flex there than maybe people realized up until this point, and they're starting to push the envelope a little bit further. So this movie is basically a thriller, right? But there's a sort of Southern Gothic air to it that brings an element of horror that kind of kicks open a door to a deeper supernatural horror. And with a director like Sam Raimi, you're bringing in a master of horror visuals, so you know you're going to get some aspects of that. And I think around the year 2000, similar things happening in music, with pushing the envelope to the max in different areas of genre. You know, we realized that we can have melodic industrial music. You know, we can have really poppy punk. All of the genre mixing starts to become much more, I guess, pronounced. And yeah, a lot of movies like this, some of them feel more tentative in their steps towards bringing in horror, and some of them go really far. Like you mentioned, Stir of Echoes. I think that's a really scary movie. So yeah, I think it's a combination of all of those things. Culturally, people were starting to feel a little bit more like genre didn't matter as much. You know, obviously nowhere near as much as now, when genre doesn't even really exist anymore. We live in this like postmodern soup of everything all at once, and people have careers that span, you know, what used to be 20 different genres. So I do think it's an interesting time. I totally agree with you there. Do you think it's noteworthy in the context of what we're talking about that this cast is really varied in terms of their backgrounds and what kind of films they come from, what their careers are like?
Yeah, I do think that. I think that like this is a cast of people that at this point you wouldn't find anywhere near a horror movie. I mean, like I said, that we were sort of ramping up with these big stars in the horror genre.
Yeah.
In these sort of super mainstream versions of horror, like you got Bruce Willis in The Sixth Sense, and Harrison Ford in What Lies Beneath, and Kevin Bacon in Stir of Echoes. But like obviously Kevin Bacon got his start in horror.
Yeah, and he would do anything. So
yeah, he's one of those. He's almost like a Nicolas Cage, isn't he? He was just a working actor that just happened to be one of the biggest actors in the world.
Moving back over to this movie, Swamptacular Thinking Lady. The Swamptacular Thinking Lady, that's what it was called, right?
If it came out in the 50s, that's what it would have been called.
Yeah, absolutely would have. No, we're pre-spoilers, we're pre-noggin here, but what are / were your thoughts on Kate Blanchett.
So fundamentally, and this might color the timbre of the rest of my review, I think this is a bad movie.
Crumbs. You think it might colour the rest of your review? You just reviewed it. That was it.
I think fundamentally there are two warring movies happening within this one movie.
One of them is Sling Blade, and one of them is Friday the 13th, Part 7.
Like, kinda. Like,
Yeah.
Sam Raimi feels like a director at war with himself. He'd moved out of the horror genre and out of the quirky genre.
Yeah.
Like 3 movies before this, he made that baseball movie for the love of the game. He made great movie. He made the Coen Brothers movie that The Legend of Curly's Gold. What the fuck's it called? Playing A Simple Plan.
Yeah.
And he was like actively directing well and doing some Raimi stuff, but in a sort of more reserved, stiff, upper lippy situation.
Kind of building the reel.
Yeah, and like I feel like he was a director that was like, I have grown up and I want to put away my childish things and
Put away my toys.
and be an adult director.
Mm.
And he was looking at the successes that he had. While like it feels like while he's making this, he started off being like, I'm going to make a serious movie about a serious thing, and it's going to be
telepathy.
It's going to be a serious take on this thing.
Mm.
And then he was like, do you know what? It's not telepathy.
What's it called?
Fortune telling.
Clairvoyance?
Yeah, clairvoyancy. Buoyancy.
Clairvoyeurism? That's what I call it when I watch Claire shower.
And then like it feels like his base instincts sort of just took over. His id had like took over, and he started doing all this insane crash zoomy Sam Raimi stuff.
Couldn't help himself.
Yeah, and I feel like this is the movie that he made before Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So he was like, do you know what? People don't want this from me. They want kooky, spooky kabuki. So like,
it's his Popeye moment. He ams what he ams.
And so I think that like this movie, I mean, I got some big issues with it.
Yeah.
Some of them are performance based.
Sure.
Some of them are the movie is fighting against itself to be, and therefore never really becomes a cohesive movie.
Mm.
Thirdly, it is so predictable. I didn't really know anything that happened in the movie.
Mm.
And when one character showed up, I was like, she's getting murdered. And then another character showed up, I was like, he's the killer.
Yeah.
She's getting murdered and he's going to kill her.
And that's the movie.
Like, I was just, obviously we'll dig into that when we get into spoilers. But
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was going to be a murder.
Right.
But I knew there was going to be a murder because I was like, this character needs to be murdered.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
The only reason this character exists and acts in this specific way is so they can be murdered.
Yeah. I mean, you've tipped your hand a little bit. Let me tip mine a tiny bit. I love, repeat, capital L and capital V, love a rock solid, tight, relatively seamless, swampy whodunit. And part of the fun of a really well-written whodunit for me is either when it's super obvious or when it's completely fucking opaque and I've got no chance of figuring it out. And it's a different kind of enjoyment for each one.
I think it's not a whodunit if you know whodunit. It's a they done it.
But you don't know until the film tells you. You know. But you don't have it confirmed, and that's part of the fun, I think. I do have a massive confession to make. When you said Simple Plan, I was like, wait, what? I must have seen that film 25 times. It's one of my all-time favorites. I love the book. I remember reading the book at school, getting out of the library. Huge fan of that movie. Had no fucking idea it was a Sam Raimi movie.
Well, yeah, because it's Sam Raimi doing Coens.
Yeah.
And directing really well, but it's not a Sam Raimi movie.
There's some bits now that I reflect on it that are very Sam Raimi, but I think because I always had it like on a DVD with no case or something, I never really read about it. In fact, I think I might have bought like some book DVD combo at some point at like FOP or something. And I just it must be in the opening credits. I don't know how it's never really registered or landed with me that it's a Sam Raimi movie. That's bizarre to me.
And like that's where presumably he met and became affiliated with old BBT.
William Robert Thornton.
And
Well, that was in 98, right? Probably shot in like 96, 97.
yeah.
And Das Gift is 2000. So they probably imagine that friendship. Wow. That's like a fucking David Lynch, Harry Dean Stanton friendship in my mind. I bet they were instant simpatico. I bet they were buds forever.
I think like because their energy is so different as well.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost like that Lenny and
Carl.
yeah.
Is that really what you were going to say?
No.
Oh.
I mean yeah. Is it Lenny and Carl in
The Simpsons?
No.
Oh.
The book where fucking Lenny takes
George
the guy.
and Lenny.
Yeah, George and Lenny, that's it.
I knew it was either going to be Steinbeck or The Simpsons.
Yeah. Interestingly, I think this is interesting. This is Raimi's lowest budget since Evil Dead 2.
Evil Dead 2 had a higher budget than this.
No, this is his lowest budget since then. So movie he made after Evil Dead 2 had a higher budget than this.
Right. So this is relatively low budget.
Yeah, 9, 10 million maybe.
And a substantial wedge of that has to be cast. Like, again, I know nothing about making films, I reiterate, but I assume that you pay the actors a lot of money, right?
I don't know, because I think the actors in this particularly are either trying something new.
Yeah.
This is like show reel stuff for Keanu Reeves. This is like, look, he's actually an actor.
When have you ever seen him as a baddie?
Yeah, well, that's one of the things he was like. I want to be a baddie.
Yeah.
So like, I'll do this movie where I get to be a baddie.
Yeah. Looks like he loved it, by the way.
And like, he did a bunch of stuff that was like unnecessary and stupid, like spending loads of time with spouse abusers in order to get into the mindset of someone that abuses their spouse. Like, all right, mate, just have you considered acting?
You know what you're trying to prove?
Yeah.
I mean, I do have, as funny as it is to take the piss out of that, which it really is, I do have a bit of respect for that. Like, no one's paying you to do that, dude. Like, that's...
But I think they are. I think when you get paid to do a movie, that's what they're paying you for.
Yeah, but you don't have to. It's not like you have to do the homework. Like, nobody's going to be like, did you go and spend time with those abused women? Or did you just show up, Keanu? They expect you to just show up. I bet that's on his time.
Yeah. So there's that. He's doing something different, and Swank is doing something different. And like Giovanni Ribisi is like up and coming. Greg Kinnear is up and coming.
Giovanni Ribisi still is up and coming, I think.
Yeah.
he never got what he deserved. What a player.
And then Blanchett is also up and coming.
Really?
Like, she's sort of ubiquitous now, and you kind of apply that retroactively. But like, I think this is her first leading role.
True. I mean, she'd been in lots of big movies, but nothing, where she's absolutely raging ahead, all eyes on me. Like Talented Mr. Ripley, Eyes Wide Shut. Those ended up being like, I don't know, classics feels like a bit much. Maybe big films. Can we say that? Yeah.
I mean, I think Talented Mr. Ripley is one of the best movies ever made, but I almost always forget that she's even in it.
I mean, she goes on to big things.
I think that like, it's interesting that this is so low budget, and it's weird, and it sort of suggests to me that it was like a passion project for Raimi and for old BBT. But like,
Agreed.
It doesn't feel like that in the watching of it. It doesn't feel like I'm splashing around in the Raimi soup. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's it might be low budget, but it's not a big swing, which is normally his low budget vibe, right?
Yeah.
Normally, if you've got sparse resources, thin ice, he shoots for the fucking moon. This doesn't feel like, to me, it doesn't feel like it's appropriate to do that in this movie. This feels like a really nicely contained film. And it feels like a chance for him to exercise what I would call good taste rather than complete mayhem at all times. Because there's some really tasteful shots and some very, very tasteful choices in the movie. But it doesn't have that bombastic, holy fuck, this is redefining an entire genre vibe. I think what reins it in is the writing, and I think Billy Bob Thornton's writing is fantastic, not just in this movie but broadly, and it always comes from somewhere, if not lived, imagined from his life and rooted quite deeply in him. I don't think he just, especially at this point, was just knocking out any old trash. So I think it, to both of them, means something slightly different, but comes from a place of quite meaningful collaboration. So yeah, it's there's definitely some rough edges in terms of how entertaining it is from start to finish. But the way I was kind of justifying and processing that as I went through is that you got to remind yourself, not everything this guy does is going to smell like the Evil Dead.
No, I know there's a lot of Evil Dead stuff in this. I will add. I think you said that there's some really tasteful stuff. I think there is, and there's also some really tasteless stuff. And that's kind of the issue that I have, is that like that grinds against. And I wonder how much of it is like a bait and switch on purpose, to be like, you feel like you're watching one thing, but I'm actually Sam Raimi and I'm hiding behind the curtain. I'm going to jump out and uppercut you or whatever.
Yeah.
But so I wonder how much of it is on purpose, but it does feel a bit wonky.
I have the same wonderings.
All right, Sam, let's take this break and come back and get into spoilers.
Okay, let's do it.
Whoa, holy shit. I guess that's why they call it Phantom Power.
I'm back, Sam. Are you back?
Been back, been there and back. I'm
so,
ready.
Before we get into spoilers, one thing.
Yeah, just one.
RedScare.net. RedScare.net. Go there.
Yep. Tons of good stuff, especially in the coming months. Things really heat up in summer over at RedScare.net, and you'd be a fool to miss out on all the news, which you can get at RedScare.net.
All the nudes.
All the nudes.
There's lots of shows coming up, lots of big festivals with Red Scare bands. Find out who, what, where, and how much over at redscare.net. Right, let's get to some spoilers. So when we establish that Keanu Reeves' Donnie Barksdale is a fucking nutbar.
Donnie Barksdale, yep.
And then also Buddy Cole, Giovanni Ribisi's character, is also a nutter.
Yeah.
The second you meet the nice, normal person, you're like, well, obviously they're the killer. Like, insanity is normalized here. So the thing that's different is going to be the killer. And like, it's so obvious.
Are you referring to the rule of Agatha Christie here? Is that what you're saying is happening?
Well,
there's an element where I think we're sort of being told that Annie Wilson's circle is populated by fringe characters, should we say? And she's doing a lot to help people who are being squished out to the edges of society, and through that, she's kind of embroiled in an extra set of characters who are violent, manipulative, and quite dangerous. And then her salvation seems to be coming in the guise of the school principal, the local school prince.
Oh yeah, we didn't do a synopsis.
We don't need to. We're doing it right now, baby. I'm weaving it in. And yes, he appears nice on the surface. But there's a few nice people coming in relatively early. And there's a lot of suspects. Were you not tempted to think for a second that the killer could have been anybody else? I mean, my main temptation there was that Hilary Swank's character was going to be the one who done it.
I think that would have been cool and interesting, but like it never crossed my mind that it would be her, because it's so obviously Greg Kinnear.
I didn't 100% definitely know it was Greg Kinnear from the very beginning, because I thought I was nailing it to David Duncan, the attorney who she was banging at the party, first of all, because that felt like a nice fleeting moment.
But like, the fiance is having an affair. That's your motive straight away.
Yeah.
And like, she's a dick. Her whole characterization is, a dick.
Yeah.
And like, she's so condescending to Cate Blanchett's character when she's in the country club. You're like, well, fuck you, lady.
Yeah.
As soon as she walked on the screen the first time, I was like, you're dying.
She's quite good at it, considering it's sweet, innocent Katie Holmes. I thought she was quite good at being a fucking dick. I don't think she's good, by the way, full stop. Like, I haven't really seen her in anything where I've thought, fucking hell, you're a once in a generation talent. But I thought she was all right in this.
Yeah, I mean, she's good in the DC, in the Dawson's Creek.
She's absolutely cracking in Dawson's Creek. She had me smitten.
Yeah.
As a young fella. Where were you putting your obsessive affection during those years of Dawson's Creek watching?
I don't want to be like the horror dude, but like Nev Campbell in Party of Five.
Yeah.
She was it for me. And Clarissa Explains It All, obviously.
Yeah, Clarissa was pretty cool. I will, I'll bust my wad early and tell you that I really enjoyed watching this. I wouldn't say it's a great film. I can't come on this bloody podcast and say it's a fantastic movie, but it ticked a lot of boxes and scratched a lot of itches that I was having in that particular moment. And part of it was not an aggressively over the top twisty whodunit, more of a, it could be one of like 3 or 4 people. It's probably that guy. But let's find out what kind of, wriggling route we get to actually finding out. I mean, it's obviously him from far too early in the movie onwards, for my money. It's too obvious too soon that it's him. But there is a nice little, unsettled point around the middle where even if it isn't him, there's still enough threat and menace and jeopardy coming from multiple characters. You mentioned Buddy is obviously having a hard time. Donnie Barksdale is obviously battering fuck out of women left, right, and center. I think Dave Duncan, the attorney, played by Gary Cole, has a pretty significant air of menace to him, even though that ultimately proves to be unwarranted. He's just kind of a sleazy lawyer type. Yeah,
smarmy dick.
Yeah, and even, the sheriff, J.K. Simmons, what a fucking legend. Even he feels menacing in his neglect and his negligence. The same for his deputies. They're obviously all buddied up with the psycho wife beater, Donnie Barksdale, and there's this feeling that she's totally alone and ridiculed and largely not believed by anyone. And that provides enough for me to stay in the mystery a little bit, because I think something horrible is going to happen at all times. And that's quite gripping to me.
A thing that I don't understand is the gift feels boring, but it isn't.
Yeah, I think that's like a comfortable experience. You're probably not used to it, Jamie. It's just like a decently made movie that isn't doing anything insane.
I think it's more than that.
Yeah.
It sort of feels to me, and I don't know if this is Raimi influence on like TV, but it sort of feels like a prestige TV drama.
Sure.
There was a sketch in the UK years ago on the Kevin Bishop show where it was like a prestige like British drama, and it just was everyone just saying gritty BAFTA, gritty BAFTA.
Okay.
In like northern accents.
Right.
I think the American equivalent of like, oh, gritty BAFTA is like, we're in the South, everyone's fucking mental. We're all like really well off Canadian, Australian, or Hollywood actors doing bad Southern accents. And that's like, that feels like prestige TV drama in America to me.
Right. So it's not quite good enough to be like a Hollywood drama, but it's got some sort of like...
Yeah. Think about like True Detective.
Sure.
And like, obviously True Detective is one of the best things ever.
Yeah, it's really good.
But it's still like just a TV drama with people that don't sound like that doing those accents, or like
Woody
those...
Harrelson's accent is 100% Woody Harrelson because he can't do anything but be Woody Harrelson.
I think they're dialing it up.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean. All those other characters that aren't the two Southern guys in the leads.
I totally hear what you're saying. I think that there's something about the scale of the movie that makes it feel... It feels quite small as a movie. I know that's a very abstract way to look at it, but because it takes place in one small area of a small town, there's not a lot of scope here. I think that lends itself to this kind of small town mystery type movie where, a lot of the time budget restraints mean you're not like having these, extended sequences where people are going other places, etc. But I like that closeness. I think the movie has a really close, sweaty feel to it. Obviously contributes to the horror in a lot of ways, but also there's something comforting in that to me. Like, I quite enjoy those kind of movies from this is just kind of easy viewing perspective.
Yeah, a thing that it reminded me of, and it was to the detriment of the movie, to the detriment of the gift, was Twin Peaks.
Okay. Yeah, I keep thinking you haven't watched the fucking new ones yet, have you?
I haven't watched The Return, but like
Crikey.
the small town murder mystery, weird stuff is happening. A little peek behind the sort of insanity of like small town or a small town and how weird those stories can be. But I feel like it's handled obviously very different to how David Lynch would handle it.
Mm.
And it doesn't feel like Twin Peaks, but it is like it's a Twin Peaksian story told in a very linear and fairly flaccid way.
Yeah, I mean that's why I would honestly compare it to Friday the 13th Part 7, because the way that the gift, the kind of clairvoyance is showcased in this movie is done in a similar way in Part 7, musically, sound cues, specific shots, lingering, kind of ominous slow zooms, and it brings a sort of stylistic similarity that I think is pretty genuine. Like I think I'm not just putting the two things that I like together and saying they're similar. I think that's really there. You're right about the Twin Peaks angle. It feels a little bit more on the Angel Hearty type end of things to me because it's obviously, I mean, where is this? This is like Georgia, South Georgia. So there's an aspect to that I think is not just appealing to me, but totally stylistically really well suited to the writing and to the setting and to the performances. So everything's kind of clicking for me in that regard. I don't really have any gripes about the sort of feeling and the scale and the general atmosphere of the film. And I think Sam Raimi's quite unique take on these sort of swampy settings and the mangroves and the the cypress knees and all those kind of things that are kind of everywhere nowadays, I guess, in those kind of movies. Like he shoots them in a really specific way that's quite evocative, and I don't think the movie would be as strong with a different director necessarily, even though I think the writing's really good. I think he brings something quite sparky and interesting, even when he's dialed back his Raiminess to 45% basically.
But like, I think the issue is that he doesn't dial back his Raiminess. He just has inside him. There are two Sam Raimis.
Which one's he feeding in this movie?
Exactly. Well, he's feeding both of them, and that means that both of them are kind of hungry.
Okay, he's splitting one meal between two wolves.
Yeah, and like there's some amazing like restrained Sam Raimi. Like when Aunt May comes on and he shoots her through the sheet because she's a fucking ghost. I was like, that is genius.
Yeah.
Nobody else would ever think to shoot someone through a sheet.
Which is literally what a ghost is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing. And then like Cate Blanchett wakes up from her nightmare and she's being choked and it zooms out to show the hands choking her. That's also pure Raimi, but a completely different guy to the sheet guy.
Yeah,
that's
and
the Evil Dead 2 guy.
And Corpse in the Tree is kind of new territory. I think that's like new Raimi.
Yeah, that's like a mysterious third Raimi.
Yeah, and I think all of that's great personally. And I think what I was kind of perceiving was, I said earlier that it felt tasteful. It felt like he'd found a slightly different groove where every Raimi, all three of the Raimis have a place. No Ted, interestingly, but all of the Sams have like a place in this soup, and they don't overwhelm the flavor. Nothing's like dominating. It all kind of sits nicely together, and that's why it felt like comfort to me. But I think what you're saying is that you perceived it as more like a lot of watered down elements, not quite clicking into anything exciting enough.
I think there's some interesting stuff when he's Raimi, and there's some really fun stuff when he's being batshit. What I would have liked would be an emergence of a third unified Sam Raimi.
Okay, Mecha Raimi.
Yeah, I don't believe in a two Raimi solution.
Power Raimi. You want a Power Rangers combo bot.
What I want is him to reconcile these two sides of himself and make a cohesive movie. And he doesn't ever do that. What he does instead is makes Spider-Man and becomes the best version of Evil Dead Raimi.
Wow.
Do you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
He becomes like the mainstream Hollywood version of the guy dicking around in the fucking woods with his mates.
Yeah.
And that's not the guy that's here.
Yeah, it just feels to me like this is more influenced by the writing than it is his
Yeah.
direction, and I think that's a really useful anchor for someone like Sam Raimi, because Billy Bob Thornton's writing is so earthy and so,
But so's
you
his
know,
directing.
what Sam Raimi's directing.
No, Billy Bob
Oh
Thornton's
right, yeah,
directing.
yeah, sure,
'Cause
yeah,
obviously he directed Sling Blade as well.
yeah.
And like,
But
I
how
don't know.
fun to have a little extra fucking mustard on your taters in a movie like this. Like it's a little bit more, it's a bit more bonkers, but it's not like fucking Evil Dead bonkers. And it's a nice, I think
There's I think there's enough Evil Dead bonkers in this to make it.
not mainstream.
Do you know, like the Nicolas Cage going insane YouTube videos?
Mm.
You could, if there was a Sam Raimi going maximum Sam Raimi, you could include 9 clips from this movie.
Do you think so? 9?
What?
I didn't think it was all that
Hang
forward.
on.
Maybe I'm
1,
just sort of
2,
used to it.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
James.
8, 9. I literally
9.
have a list of 9 mega Raimi-isms.
Nice. But by 2000, are they all that outlandish? Like, yeah, sure they are in Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 because they're kind of new. No one had really taken those moves and bust them out on that particular dance floor. But by 2000, a crazy zoom of someone being strangled, it doesn't feel wholly unique to Sam Raimi or like a watershed moment in cinema,
I think, well, let me go through these Raimi-isms and we'll see what we think, right?
Come on, give me your top 9 if you've got 9 to hand. I don't know.
I think, like I said, the zoom out to reveal the hands choking her is so Sam Raimi, and I don't think anybody else would do that at this point.
Okay.
If they would be a low budget horror guy. Nobody in like mainstream Hollywood is doing that. Not even like the Coens. The shot of the kid through the car door window where he's framed so you only see the top of his head. I think that's fucking amazing. That's like top tier genius Raimi, like operating at the top of his game. It's one of the best shots in the movie for me.
Why is it uniquely Raimi though?
Just because, much like shooting through the sheet, like nobody else would think to do that.
Well, it's just Keanu Reeves' POV, isn't it? I mean, yeah, it looks great, and it gives you the scale of like, I'm just a poor, harmless little boy.
I mean, it is the POV, but like I just don't think anybody else would think to treat it that way. The cut from the phone call from Katie Holmes's dad to the reading section where you think the phone call's carrying on.
Yeah.
And we've actually moved to an in-person conversation and it takes your brain a second to catch up with the visual of that is so Raimi.
Yeah, that's a nice transfer.
It's so good.
But a lot of these feel quite Hitchcockian in this context as well. It feels like Raimi doing a Hitchcock thing, to be honest. Like everything you've said so far, I mean.
The fiddle man and the really jerky camera to like represent the insanity of the dream.
I thought that was a very scary moment. And I love that he never came back. They never mentioned him again. Again, that just felt a little bit more Lynchian than Raimi to me.
But it's the way the camera's moving.
Yeah,
more
true.
More so than the
actual content of the shot. Yeah.
Like I think that is a Black Lodge type situation in subject matter, but not. It's the way that the camera is moving is the Raimi thing. The super zoomy in on the eye things really super crash zoom when we first see Jessica in the tree. The way that we watch the hands pulling the ropes when they're dragging the lake.
Yeah.
Or the pond. Like the sort of tactile nature of it and the fake out. And then when we don't see the hands when they actually are doing the thing, super Raimi.
I thought that panic, the dad's, not panic, sorry, like the dad being so grief-stricken, he's running out into the water. I thought shooting that from quite a low water level, sort of regardless of how wet the camera gets, and like the sort of herky-jerky side of that was quite indicative of a Raimiism.
Yeah. I've also got the bathtub scene, and I wrote, is this Raimi or is it just 1999? And yeah, that could go either way.
Yeah.
The shot where she's leaning on Greg Kinnear and we know he's the murderer. And he's completely in shadow, and she's got like this shaft of light on her face. Like classic film noir via Sam Raimi.
Right.
Like it feels
Noir Amy.
like just the way that like that is interpreted. It's like he plucked that straight from like Detour or something and was like,
right.
plop that in there. The shot of them walking, this is the most Raimi thing in the movie beyond the zoom out to choking.
Go on.
When Greg Kinnear and Kate Blanchett are walking down to the pond and we know that he's going to try and murder her, and it's shot from a distance through the trees, it looks exactly like that weird composite shot of Bruce Campbell getting out of the car and the bridge is all like torn up, like the sort of
love that shot.
Early point of Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
It looks exactly the same. It's weird. They look like miniatures. And maybe if I can be fucking arsed, I'll do this. But I think you could put those two shots side by side and be like, this is the same shot. And then the twisty, zoomy, watchy thing with the ticking watch. And it's like...
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of these... I think you're right. You're picking all the, the most sort of characteristic auteur-ish moments of Sam Raimi. But nearly all of these are really directly influenced by some classic noir, which I think is really interesting because this isn't... None of that is like straight down the line horror filmmaking choices, really. They're interesting takes on a noir thriller, and then you ladle on, lots of different aspects of composition and dialogue and music, etc., and it starts to take on a horror hue. But the more you're talking about it, the more I'm realizing how noir a lot of this movie is, and it's that Southern Gothic kind of noir that isn't as telegraphed as a black and white movie about a gumshoe. It's a little bit more subtle, and I think that's a pretty comprehensive list. It is worth mentioning the classic is in this movie from start to finish, right?
Yeah.
The Oldsmobile.
Watching this, I was like, the classic has jumped the shark.
Really? Isn't it in like 10 movies after this?
Yeah, but at this point, I was like, you can afford a new fucking car, mate.
She can't.
Why are we doing this? I just don't
know why. You know what kind of a neurodivergence the guy clearly has, and he's hanging onto that fucking car till the end of time. I really like the classic, and I not like that I like the car or anything like that. I love the recurrence of it, and I love what it says about Sam Raimi and his obsessive treatment of it over the years. I think is incredibly fun, and the fact that some auteur directors will reuse a specific actor or some sort of set device or whatever, or the same setting, whatever.
It's like Tim Burton and Johnny Depp.
Yeah. But I love that it's a motor. It's just something. It carries a certain gravitas, obviously, because of the kind of car it is. But it suits every person who has it in the movie. In the movies, it always 100% fits the moment. It's not like he's shoehorning it in. And I think that's really cool.
I'll take your point for this movie. I think it's fucking shoehorned in Oz the Great and the Powerful.
Well, yeah, it's more of a fucking, I don't know, drop it in here and see what people say moment in that, I guess.
I just don't really like this movie.
Yeah, I'm getting that impression the more you talk about it.
I really wanted to, and I didn't hate it. It just, so much of it was either predictable or it's so weird because it's like, it feels like an austere Southern drama, like fucking Steel Magnolias or Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. Like,
it was more playful than those movies.
Well,
I thought.
It doesn't until it does. Until Raimi has a little tantrum and starts throwing the camera around or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand the Giovanni Ribisi stuff at all. Because, can you explain it to me? Why is it in the movie?
Why are you making me explain it?
Because you like it.
Burden of proof is what am I having to explain here? He sucked off his dad and went mental.
Yeah, why is it in the movie?
Oh, well, I mean, what kind of a question is that? Because it is. So for me, his character's important because it showcases Kate Blanchett's character's empathy, her patience, her willingness to help people who kind of desperately need it, and
her lack of empathy and patience is the reason that he sets his dad on fire.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the whole thing. It showcases where her limit is, and it just deepens her character a little bit. She could just be this bleeding heart psychic that helps everybody, but even she has a point where she can't help anymore, and he has to be. Several times she says like this: "From here on out, this is your journey. You got to figure this shit out, and then come back to me." And then there's a breaking point where she just can't handle him anymore, and that's when he completely, I don't know what the word is. I guess goes nuts and burns his dad.
Psychotic break.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he's important because he is such a spark for lots of different dramatic elements. We don't know if he's safe to be around at all for her because he has lots of little moments where he kind of snaps at her and is quite even physically abusive to her a couple of times. But he's also fiercely protective of her kids, and we get to see him taking on Keanu Reeves, which I thought was an incredibly fun scene. And then we're also sitting there thinking, what's going to happen to this guy? Like, he's obviously incredibly vulnerable. He's obviously really struggling. He's a great, diversion for us in the times when the movie's maybe a little bit slower. He always comes in and livens it up. And then it's classic Billy Bob Thornton writing for me. It's all about childhood trauma. It's all about abuse. It's about, people who kind of grow into adulthood with unreconciled violence in their childhoods and what it makes them and how they manifest that in their lives and in society. So I was looking at it from that point of view, and I just thought he was fantastic. I loved his character.
Well,
and also he saves the day. He saves everyone.
I hate that the end when he is the Sixth Sense stupid ending.
But you love ghosts.
Like, I love ghosts, but I don't love, I thought that was lame. But I think the issue is that Giovanni Ribisi is playing it so big that it's distracting and not interesting.
Do you think so? I thought he was really cool.
I think he's like Vampire's Kiss, Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, I loved it.
In adaptation. Like, I just don't know what function it's actually serving. Like, the bigness of the character, the horribleness of this narrative, like, it doesn't feel like it's serving anything in the movie for me, and that's the big issue. And then, like I say, the ending when he saves the day but he's a ghost, like, what are we doing?
He's a ghost and he saves the day. What don't you get? Well, look, all right, answer your question this way. Work backwards from the ending and tell me you can have a movie without him. He's quite important to the movie by that point.
Like,
his whole story leads up to that, doesn't it? That's why he kills himself. That's, he's repaying her for being his only friend.
How does she get the hanky back?
Transmographer gymnication, dude.
No,
it comes from the ghost.
He washed it in the afterlife.
Yeah, they have dryers and have laundrettes. There's laundrettes in heaven, Jamie, okay? Listen, I agree that it's dumb as fuck. I can't honestly say I think it's lazy. It is tropey, definitely. And it's something that I can't say I wish didn't happen in the movie because I really think it suits the film. I think it gives it the ending that the film has earned. But I don't necessarily think it's good.
I think if we'd established early on that sometimes ghosts can affect the physicality or the physical world, then maybe I would feel less annoyed by it.
Does Grandma do anything physical? Doesn't she bring her something? I can't remember. She gives her something.
She did like some rosary beads or something.
Yeah. So we are establishing that early.
But she's not affecting the physical realm. She's handing over some rosary beads and then they disappear.
Yeah. I guess they
don't disappear in front of our eyes, but we never see them again.
But is it that much of a stretch to think that in this movie ghosts can
kill murderers?
Yeah. And carry hankies and give them back to people and wash them in heaven? Why is that such a stretch for you? I don't get it.
It's a bridge too far.
It's not for me in the context of the movie. We've established this spooky Southern Gothic everything premise where this woman can both predict the future, see specifically how people are going to die, solve murders with feelings and be able to perceive things that happened in a place where she was nowhere near there physically. I don't see it as ridiculous that Giovanni Ribisi kills a guy with a fucking torch. I think it's too sweet of an ending for a movie like this, to be honest. I think it puts you through, puts it all through too much of a sweet, nice lens.
Yeah. But I tell you what I really loved. I loved, and I think it was the best thing about the whole movie, J.K. Simmons. I love J.K.
Perfect.
Simmons. And he felt like a real character with like an internal life, and that he was part of an actual town, and that he had enough skepticism of the psychic stuff that like I didn't feel annoyed by him, but he also was like, well, fucking all right, we'll go and look at the fucking pond. And I really respected it. I really thought it was a great performance. Him, the guy that I love courtroom shit also. I'm such a sucker for like a courtroom drama. So like the courtroom scenes in this I thought were great, especially like the Donnie Barksdale's defense.
Michael Jetta, yeah, from Green Mile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
well, from loads of stuff, but
yeah, I don't understand who calls Kate Blanchett as a witness.
Well, I think it's the defense, right? They get her up there to grill her.
It would have to be the defense to be like, look, this is we're gonna poke holes in this because she's a fucking witch or whatever.
Yeah.
She doesn't know how many fingers I'm holding up behind my back. I've seen that scene so many times on TikTok and had no idea what it was from.
Oh, interesting.
But I really loved that. Like,
yeah, all the courtroom stuff was great to me because it was part of the pacing of the film that gave a good kind of push pull, slow down, speed up kind of feeling to it, and returning to it throughout the ending, convicting the wrong man, knowing you're going to end up going back for a resolution. I found that just kept things moving really nicely.
Yeah.
And I actually thought we were going to see some Ribisi explosions in the courtroom, and we didn't, which you're probably grateful for. But yeah, I think he's kind of notably absent for chunks of the movie there at the end, and we obviously see him outside the courtroom. Again, I just think he's quite well placed. But
so I think that you take all of those scenes out of the movie, nothing changes really.
We have to remove his whole character thread then. We don't get to see the stuff with his mum and dad. We don't get to have any of that. I thought that was all great.
Like, sure, but it has no impact on the narrative of the movie apart from the stupid ending.
But that's the whole ending.
Like, yeah, but it's stupid.
But just because it's stupid doesn't mean it's not fundamental to the entire trajectory of the film. It is the ending. Like, without him, she kills him himself. And that's it. Like, maybe that's a better ending, but the movie we have culminates in him saving the day. So he has to have a journey to get there. And I think
that's like saying, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is the end of Ghostbusters. So we need to build him up throughout the movie. Do they? Do they mention the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man any point during the movie?
Well,
no, they do not.
I'm going to blow your mind here, Jamie. Ghostbusters is a very different movie to The Gift. And the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, the subtlety and the nuance of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man's character, his impact on the world that he inhabits and his relationships with all the other characters, thankfully can be encapsulated very briefly at the end of the movie with his conjuring into existence by Dan Aykroyd's lack of mental discipline. The same can't be said for Giovanni Ribisi's character in The Gift.
If, as you say, the Gift and Ghostbusters are very different movies, then I put this to you, Sam. Why do they use the same deck of psychic cards?
That's a great question. That is a great question. That was a nice little touch point, I thought, a point of pop culture familiarity that we could all get behind.
So I think that those are real cards that people,
they got to be,
psychics use.
Not made just for Pete Venkman and Kate Blanchett.
I think that, like, there's just something about the patina and the vibe of this movie that I just cannot get on board with.
It feels far more like a mid to early 90s movie than a cusp of the turn of the fucking millennium movie to me. Like, costumes in particular, I know it's supposed to be, a very specific place and somewhere that's, quote unquote behind the times when it comes to fashion and style and everything else. But even like Katie Holmes, who's supposed to be, our sort of I don't know, socialite, trendy, hot character or whatever. She looks like it's fucking 1992. Everyone does. And
Yeah.
I don't know how much of that is deliberate. I mean, I assume all of it, but something about that and the way it's shot makes it feel, much older or younger. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Makes it feel like it's from the early 90s.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I completely agree. I think also there's not a real strong sense of place. Considering that we're spending a lot of time
Really?
in this small town, I
Oh, I'd
feel
have to
like
disagree with that.
we're told a lot about the sense of place, but we never experience really the sense of place.
That definitely wasn't my experience because I was craving small town swamp vibes, and this was like one of the top movies I was recommended, and it definitely scratched the itch. There's so many very specific locales, shots that linger on very specific things, the dialogue, the accents, the clothes, everything kind of put it exactly where it needed to be for me.
I think the accents are not good.
But the swamp, everything that's swampy in the entire movie, which is every 20 seconds, is what pulls you to that specific place. I couldn't tell for a little while if we were in, the Florida Panhandle or South Georgia, which is a distance of like 10 miles. So I thought it was pretty fucking tight.
So what I don't get in terms of the sense of place is I don't get humidity. I don't get the heat. Like we might as well be in like the Pacific Northwest. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I don't feel in Angel Heart, for example, you really feel that sort of Louisiana heat and horrible, like oppressive locale. Like you
Yeah.
really feel that. Everyone's sweating, everyone's having a bad time. It feels hot and humid and horrible.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't feel like that here at
I don't think it
all.
needs to. I think that's summer in Louisiana and this is autumn in Georgia. Like, I think everyone's wearing layers. It's not hot. Like it's the gray period of the year. It doesn't feel like a steaming hot sweltering movie because the leaves are all brown and everyone's wearing loads of clothes. I don't know. It's in Angel Heart, they lean into it so hard, it becomes such a part of the plot, just how fucking wringing wet everyone is all the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of like really tropey Louisiana sort of swampy movies do that because that's the most interesting feature of it visually and in terms of stuff that impacts people's lives and the way they behave in their fucking brains. But I don't think this is that movie. That's not really a feature of it.
I just think it's weird to do a swampy movie and have it not feel swampy. Like part of the swamp for me is like the swamp in your ass when you're out there because you're sweating so much.
The heat, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all seasons. I quite enjoy it.
You become one with the swamp because you're so sweaty and horrible. I think that's part of it. But
it's definitely one way you can do swamp. I just didn't think that this would. I don't think the weather and the time of year really took me away from the sense of place or the locale. But I get bored of that like sweaty swamp movie. Like it's been done a million times. I like that it didn't need to do that really.
Well, I think like similar to how I would experience New York or LA or Chicago in movies. Like Chicago is snowy, it's Christmas. Like New York is big buildings and everyone's in a rush. LA is sleazy. I think because my primary experience of all of these places is movies, you have to sort of lean into those tropes in order for people to understand.
Yeah, but I just think there's a difference between location and weather here, and the two just don't need to go hand in hand. It's like you said, the Chicago, it's like red hot in the summer, and yes, there's a lot of Christmas movies there, but I've seen just as many like happy summery Chicago movies as I have autumn and winter ones. I don't think the weather defines the place necessarily. But I've found one thing that I know you will absolutely disagree with 100%, just to add to the pile. There's a Rolling Stone quote here in the overview that says, "A sexy twist-a-minute thriller."
I mean, there's zero twists, but there's 110 minutes, so
110 twists, and I didn't find it to be a particularly sexy movie either. I don't want to, I'm not saying I think
it's actively sexless, apart from the sex.
There's a sex scene, yeah.
It's more not even chaste. It's like anti-sex.
An anti-sex twistless movie would be your Rolling Stone review.
Literally. It's like...
See? Told you.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so much of the plot of this movie is built around this sort of burgeoning or like unspoken attraction between the psychic investigating the murder and the person who is ultimately revealed to be the murderer.
Mm.
And like there's a very clear romance between them, but it never feels like they even remotely want to kiss each other. Even in the scene where it's like, we're gonna kiss, it feels like we're actively pushing against that.
Yeah, I didn't think they had a lot of chemistry apart from at the country club briefly.
Yeah, and I think that's on purpose. I think like in that opening scene of them together, they have a little bit of like, there's a little frisson, and then at the country club, there's also a frisson, and we've also, you know, seen his fiancee bang someone else in a cupboard.
Yeah.
Or the cloakroom or whatever it is. But then when it gets to them actively like being in a kind of embrace, it becomes so... It's like Dare for sex. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think what kills the sex vibe in this movie is all the child abuse and wife beating.
Yeah. Dare to resist sex and horniness. Put that on a t-shirt.
Dare to resist the horn.
I guess like there's one character that's allowed to have sex and she's the one that dies. I don't...
Yep. Tells you everything you need to know, boys.
I think like, well, that's obviously a horror trope.
Yeah.
But like, that doesn't feel like a very Sam Raimi horror trope. So I think is he trying something different here? Or is it just that like, you know, oh, I slipped and fell into a boring trope?
Oh, I slipped and fell into a Billy Bob Thornton script.
Like, I sort of think that there's no reason beyond what I assume is their friendship forged in the snowy tundra of A Simple Plan. There's no reason why Billy Bob Thornton didn't direct this. It's about his mum. It's like, it's drawing from a bunch of his very personal experiences. Like the Buddy character is based on someone he knows. Like the Kate Blanchett character is based on his mum. Like these are people that he knows and experienced growing up, and like these are obviously, I don't think his mum ever solved a fucking murder, but like, you know,
this is a documentary. She was literally saved by a ghost.
But like, you know, this is him drawing on those experiences, and I think he wrote this around the same time that he wrote Sling Blade.
That was really my best guess, is that Sam Raimi wanted to direct it, and that's why, you know, you don't get the passion project vibe necessarily, but I kind of do. It doesn't feel like a passion project to the extent that a movie like, you know, Evil Dead does, because that is pure raging, obsessive, over the top, explosive passion. But this feels like a movie that serves a purpose for everyone involved, and therefore everyone's kind of pointed in the right direction. It feels like an ensemble cast, and it feels like it has this pretty singular purpose, and maybe a means to an end in a semi-cynical industry way. But it feels like a really cool collaboration, and I like the mixture of all of those different talents and personalities. I'd love to know, you know, what the chemistry was like on set between people like fucking Keanu Reeves, Billy Bob Thornton, Sam Raimi, and Kate Blanchett. Like, I'd love to fucking be a fly on the wall at the craft service table. I bet it was interesting.
Yeah, I bet it was. The end.
And with that, I think it's probably best, Jamie, if we take a quick break and then you sum it up.
Okay, let's do that.
Will you give it up, man? Nobody's out there. We're alone. Oh no, there's somebody out there. I'm picking up all this crosstalk.
Lawrence Fishburne. I'm back, Jamie. Are you back?
I am back.
Sum her up.
You're so right. Earlier on, you said that I've given way worse movies a pass, right?
Yeah, of course.
And I absolutely have. I have given movies much, much worse than this with one or two redeeming moments a much easier ride than this movie. Like, it occurred to me that I wrote down 9 things that I thought were fucking rad. 9.
And you managed to use them as criticisms.
I don't think I did. Those were like the good Raimiisms that I really rated.
Right.
And like, if I was watching a comedy movie and it made me laugh 9 times,
9 times,
it would be the best comedy movie ever, right?
Yep.
But something in this movie is just lost for me. It just doesn't work for me.
I really hope your review is The Gift, not a good comedy.
Yeah. I didn't laugh once. I'm going to be honest with you.
I laughed a couple of times, but yeah.
Like I say, the overall patina of this movie feels too lofty to be fun and too fun to be lofty, but I'm not having that fun. It looks like it's like I'm 9 years old and I'm grounded looking through my window at the park over the road, watching all the kids have a good time, and I'm not there. That's my experience of watching this movie.
What I'm experiencing right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I see what you're saying. A part of the loftiness, I think, comes from the fact that at times it's shot like a plantation drama, which is a little bit strange.
Well, that's what I mean about it feeling like Steel Magnolias or Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil.
Yeah.
And like those weird sort of Southern Gothic movies that have super high, almost like Oscar aspirations.
Pride and Prejudice style.
Yeah. But it doesn't do anything meaningful. This movie is fine. And I think its biggest crime is that it's just fucking fine. And I want my Sam Raimi movies to be exceptional.
Right.
Spider-Man's, say what you want about how, they murdered cinema for literally decades. They were bags of fun. It's not Sam Raimi's fault that Hollywood took the wrong lessons from the success of those movies.
Right.
Even like his other stuff that isn't Sam Raimi stuff, like For the Love of the Game, and A Simple Plan, like those are still great movies with heart and soul, and like they're doing something and they're trying something, and they're swings. They're different kinds of swings, literally in the case of For Love of the Game. But like it's a director trying to be a more rounded director. And what I get here is it feels lazy. It feels like I want to do something that's cool and different, but I also can't be asked to rein in my Raimi tendencies. Or I want to do something batshit, but also I have to rein in some of it for the fucking suits.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it feels like it's a director actively at war with himself. Right. It's Raimi's war.
Okay.
And it just feels like a fucking failure as a result. And
blimey.
And that hurts my feelings. I feel personally victimized. Have you been personally victimized by a Sam Raimi movie that wasn't as good as you thought it should be?
Are you a veteran of Sam Raimi's war? You may be entitled to compensation.
Yeah. I just wish it was gooder. But like, it is fine and it's perfectly watchable. Yeah. And it has 9 fucking great moments at least. And maybe more if you're not counting just the Raimiisms. Like the stuff through the sheet is great. All the J.K. Simmons stuff is really good, like really well drawn. Like, I just wish it was better. I'm going to give it 6 out of 14 dangly fucking Katie Holmeses floating in a tray.
Dangly Katie Holmeses. That's a devastatingly low review, peppered with borderline abusive critique. I'm gonna give this movie. I'm gonna go straight in.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. It's a fucking classic, dude. An undeniable genre-defining classic.
Yeah. Do you know what? Raimi made one genre-defining classic in his career, and it was The Gift.
And it was The Gift. What a fucking beauty from start to finish. No, I'm gonna give this 6.5. Giovanni
14.
Ribisi's begging to be shot in the head out of 10 because, for my money, this is a very comforting Southern whodunit for a Sunday afternoon. And I can't imagine, for all our japes and jokes about it being made to win Oscars, I can't imagine anyone involved in this low-budget movie had anything in mind other than bringing a pretty good script to life with a really good cast. And I really think they did that. It doesn't do anything particularly spectacular, even within the confines of a pretty unremarkable genre, but it does express itself in a way that's wholly appropriate to me. I think it has a really strong sense of place that I really enjoy being in. I think it's a cusp of the year 2000 movie that feels like it was made in the early 90s, which I love. And I think it's a fun, if a little bit stifled, collaboration between two people who I think are fucking phenomenal. You know, Sam Raimi and Billy Bob Thornton together is always interesting, if not, explosive. And I do think they ground each other in a way that's really interesting in this film. Great cast. Loved Keanu Reeves. Loved Giovanni. I would say, I wouldn't go as far as say big fan, but I definitely enjoyed it for the time that it was on. And that's all we have in this life, Jamie. The time that it's on.
Okay, well, we talked about The Gift. I had some strong feelings. You had some strong feelings. We've done that now. It's over.
The real lesson is Final Transmission is the gift that keeps giving. And if you want to give the gift that keeps giving, go to our Patreon and maybe gift a subscription to somebody.
Yeah. Gift it to yourself. Gift it to your friends.
Gift it to a ghost.
Yeah.
He might save your life.
Gift up the ghost.
Gift up the ghost, Jamie. Good work from you.
Do that. Patreon.com/Final Transmission. If you don't want to give us $5 a month to get unedited, uncut versions of this episode and many, many others like it, you don't have to do that, but it behooves you to do it.
Behooves?
It behooves you.
Jamie's behooving right now.
Yeah. If you don't want to do it, that's all right. We'll live, maybe, but you can do other stuff that's free and only involves a few seconds of your time, and that's going to Instagram or your social media platform of choice and following at FT Horror Show. You can subscribe and leave a review wherever you're listening to this. You can tell a friend. Tell the nearest ghost.
Tell him.
Tell your nearest psychic. They probably already know. They probably saw it in a dream.
Psychics, our core demographic. We don't need to promote to them.
You can also follow Sam at his personal social media at Sam Russo Music, where you can see photos of his cats tearing up the studio.
They are destroying everything.
You can follow me at my Instagram at Carruthers with no E and a Z at the end. You can also follow me at Letterboxd, and that's at Jamie FT.
You can also pee through Jamie's letterbox at his home address, which is no, I'm not going to tell him that, Jamie.
Which is 1 Norwich Street, Norwich.
Yes, that's the address. That's where you pee.
Yeah, which is 10 Downing Street, London.
Yeah, if you want to pee through Jamie's letterbox, go to 10 Downing Street.
Don't piss on Larry the cat. Is he still there? I have no idea.
Don't know.
So okay, we've done the gift, we've done the stuff. We're done, Sam. We're out of here.
We'll do another one next week.
We will. We'll do another Final Transmission next week. Why don't you say goodbye, Sam?
Goodbye, Sam.
Goodbye, everybody.